Princella, have you ever had a good experience with a man over the entire span of your life today? I'm just curious to know personally. I know facts and figures. Have you ever had that exist personally?
No, I'm 37 years old, and no. Do you want me to give you a rundown? I mean,
yes,
because,
yes, please.
Yeah,
just generally about your experiences with men.
Yeah, because I don't like to talk about my personal experience. You know why? Because I don't like for it to be subjective. I like to stay on objective.
Your experience is facts.
No. But typically, when people talk about the conversation that I'm having, they like to paint it as if it's because of your experience. Let me tell you.
Wait. Now, life experience does impact how you perceive things.
But see, that's what I'm saying. People want to say that it's tainted. But let me tell you something about experience. Every single thing in this world has been perfected based on experience. The best winners have taken the most L's. You don't win without taking no L's. And how you win is going back to review the tapes. Right?
I like the spirit of optimism now that you have.
But I always have optimism.
I like that.
No, I always have optimism. But here's the thing: for every effect, there is a cause, right?
Yes.
All right. So I come from a scientific point of view, and once I get to a point where it's continue to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, then then something has to change.
Okay.
So I date women now, but this month,
only women. You only date women.
I only date women now. This month made 1 full year that I've dated women. Okay. Prior to this, I've been with men my entire life.
Okay.
Now, my experiences with men have been me working with men, me being friends with men, and me dating men. After 20 years of experience, I have come to a conclusion about a variety of men. Because I've been a tomboy my whole life, I have access to men in a way that the average woman who's girly girl and whose friends are mostly female, I have more knowledge than she does, right? So let's just start with first my mentor being a male when I was 16 years old. My mentor was a political activist, right? So he introduced me to the conscious community, right? So he put me on to the 5 Percenters, Nation of Islam, Malachi York. I read a lot of this stuff, and I read Message to the Black Man or whatever. All right. For him, it was dealing with me to help me in the music industry. At least that's what I thought. But the entire objective for him was basically to use me as a tool to help or whatever political campaigns that he wanted to run for the area that we was in. All right. So we always butt heads. Now he taught me some key things that I took with me to right now. All right. And I learned through the experience with him what narcissistic personality disorder really, really looked like. All right. And so to make a long story short, we had a album that we put it because I rap or whatever.
Most people have no idea how to plan a date that builds connection with 100 engaging dating cards, skip the small talk, and get straight to the real conversation. Let's take the dating game to the next level. Click the link in the description and use discount code CLIPS for 10% off.
And I produced the album, and he got upset with me for something very menial, right? I had a seatbelt ticket. I mean, I didn't know anything coming out, from where I was. So I got a seatbelt ticket, and it turned into a bench warrant. And he got upset because I let the ticket turn into a bench warrant. So basically he was like, "You too immature. I don't want nothing to do with the company or whatever." We ain't made no money up until this point. But anytime we did a company, he always wanted to be the CFO. He wanted to be in control of the money, right? So what happened with this, he basically said, "I don't want nothing to do with the company. You can have it." And I'm gone. Well, somehow Manny Fresh from Cash Money got a chance to hear the album and gave some feedback on the album. It gets back to him that Manny Fresh was like, oh, y'all got solid platinum, hits or whatever. So he come back to me and is like, yeah, Manny Fresh, I got Manny Fresh on deck. Now what the fuck you want to do? If you want to get me out the company, you're gonna have to pay me millions. And I'm like, what? We ain't made no money. Now I'm 19, 20 years old at this time. Now keep in mind, I just came out of Christianity, okay? Because I denounced Christianity on my own because I was raised Baptist or whatever. So anyway, this happens.
Did y'all have an intimate relationship?
No, he was really just a mentor to me. Okay. So it wasn't nothing sexual there at all. But anyway, so this happens and I'm just like, well, forget it. Then I threw all of those CDs away because I'm the type of person, I'm just going to disconnect. I'm not even finna go through all of that. So anyway, we separated like that. But the whole thing was to try to control me, my mind for whatever he wanted. And it was like, okay, so you ain't nothing but a little meal piece, a little chess piece that I'm moving around.
And was he your first bad experience with a man?
I won't even say bad experience. This is the first experience of me having a direct insight on the male. So
when you say this is the first experience with direct insight on the male, I'm assuming that means you didn't have a father figure to give you some of that insight prior to being 16.
Yeah, my father was there. Yeah, he had just got out of the military, so he was there. He already knew. People in the community knew this guy, right? So
but you said this guy was the first time you got from another male that's not your father.
Well, if you want to talk about my father, my father was an alcoholic, and he actually broke my mother's nose with a telephone receiver.
I got you. Okay. So your experiences with negative experiences with men started very early.
Very early. All right.
Okay.
All right. So. But what we're not gonna do is try to make it seem like that's
no. I don't want to do that.
No, I just think that's context.
I want to give context, but I need to get through more of them, right? So so that you can see the consistent thing. Because here's the thing: if I put 100 marbles up here or M&Ms up here, and I made 98 of them blue, and I made 2 of them yellow, and then I mixed them up, what's the likelihood that you're going to pull out a yellow one? Let's say the yellow ones are the good ones.
2%.
Right, 2%.
Well, no. That depends on what tool you using, right? And how you and what the strategy is for you to go about grabbing.
She said I literally just said, I say shook it up in the bag, and you just
cool. Because if you randomly draw, that's all I'm saying. If you're using your eyes, it could be different.
She put it in the
bag. Let's get to the point now.
But
okay,
you sift.
Right,
Okay,
hold on, because y'all asked me a question. Okay, because I don't really talk about my personal experiences unless unless somebody asks me.
I'm not, and just so you understand, I'm not using your personal experiences to say what you're saying is not justified, because a lot of what people been through allows them to go into deep research and to study and actually become credible in certain spaces. So I'm not saying that's discrediting you, but I think that's just important for the audience just to get context from the message in general. You have a story,
right? And what I'm saying is I want to tell the story, so just let me tell it. All right, so that's 1 and 2, right?
Okay.
So during the CD period.
What about the intimate relationships?
Oh my God! Can are you gonna let me talk? No,
seriously.
No,
I promise you've had about 75% of the talk time. Princella, we letting you talk.
I know,
I promise you, we letting you talk.
I know, but y'all asking me questions that y'all ain't letting me answer. So he specifically.
I just want you to give us like the Cliff Note version on not the. I'm not trying to shorten you,
because y'all looking for a specific answer. When I give you the answer, then it's like, okay, so y'all not asking specific questions, but here's the thing. I'm getting specific with you because I could tell you about the time a guy pulled a gun on me. All right. I mean, I can tell you about the time that a guy nearly flipped me over being drunk. Okay. I can tell you about the guy who took $40,000 from me, right? Running a Nation of Islam hustle on me. I mean, if you want me to get there, let me talk and I'll get you there.
There you go.
Right?
No, go ahead.
But just let me talk. All right. Because there is a reason why women experience what they experience with men. And it's the false belief about who men are that have women selecting men. You got women selecting men based on his job. You have women selecting men based on his religious beliefs. These are all faulty selective models. They're all faulty, right?
I would
So,
agree if only using those specific criteria, one, or using just only those two, yeah, it's faulty.
but here's the
You should
thing.
consider a lot more when you decide to be with
Which
somebody.
is the reason why I have what I called the 41 Shades of Men. All right. I learned those 41 shades by being around men, right? I worked in male dominated industries. I spent 8 years in the military, mostly around men, because I was a tomboy. Let me tell you something. Men let me in to their mind. Okay. So the men that I worked with, oh man, they were all married. I'm one of the only women that they talk to like I'm one of them. So I'm in a circle where it's like 8 men and I'm the only woman in there. My manager is basically talking to all us, yeah, man, when my wife leave the house, I'm fucking her niece. Right, and that pussy good. This how men talk to me. So
no, it's low level, man.
Yeah, it sounds like
very
very
low
low
level.
level. I wouldn't let a man talk to me around that.
Let me put it like this. The book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. Dale Carnegie says in chapter 1, on page 4, chapter 1, that most men believe that they're good, right? Let even the hardest criminal tell it that none of them are bad men. So when men try to speak and say, oh, that's just that male, they basically try to isolate women and make it seem like you only know bad men. It's like no male knows another bad male. But guess what? Men, ancient philosophers, top level men, they all say the same thing about men. So for Dale Carnegie and Sigmund Freud to have in a book that is dedicated to men to say that this is the psychology of males, that no male knows a bad man, that they never consider themselves as bad men. Women do not need to be listening to men talking about good men or anything. Seneca also said, stop wasting time talking about what a good man should be and just be one, right? So the fact of the matter is, women speaking about their experiences with men is pointless and baseless, because the man is always going to go into ego mode to protect his own ego, which this is the reason why I don't even have these discussions. But I will let you know that the experiences that I have had with men have gone from damn near dangerous and life-threatening, because yes, I've had men to put their hands on me, right? I have had men pull guns on me. I have had men tell me the wicked stuff that they're doing that I work with, right? And these are of all different types of races. I had one guy let me know, hey, Princella, man, I just got finished fucking the receptionist, and they had to go clean the sperm out the car, brand new car. This is what men, this is what males are doing. Married, I have studied the down low male, and these men are married. There was this one guy by the name of Emmanuel. When he created this online journal, he ran this online journal for 10 years. And basically, he started it as a man on the down low. And he wrote entries for years about all the men who were married that he was screwing up and down the East Coast. They were politicians, they were military men, they were sports all these
Princella, listen. No. We don't need to go through a list of all the bad, shady characters from your past or that exist in the world. We have a platform of 200,000 people, for most of them women. So yes, we've heard those stories. And just like we've heard stories from the opposite from women, but we're not going to have this fear-based messaging
it's just reality-based messaging.
It's fear-based, because reality, good men exist. The reality, bad men exist. And the vice versa for women.
Y'all want women to see all of y'all as good and take risks.
No. We want people. Yes, we do want to encourage people to take risks, because a long-term relationship is a huge risk. But we don't want people to think that everybody's the same and that this situation is always going to happen to you. We want to have people to be forewarned that both men and women are capable of injustice or evils or whatever you want to call it. But I'm not going to sit here and just listen to a bunch of things that men have done wrong and think that's the best way that you want to communicate to men and women.
No, I don't think women should be trying to help men be better men. Men are responsible for being better themselves. So here's the thing: men can believe and do whatever they want, and I'm telling women that they don't have to participate in that, because who I care more about, because life is more important, and the nurture and the sustainer of life is women, and women are the ones who have the children. They're the ones who need to make the better decisions. So I really don't care what men really think about the message, because they want access to women and they want women to take these big risks on them. I think women need to have their self-interest and think about the risk that she's taking, because she is taking the bigger risk. The male is not the one taking the bigger risk.
I'm curious about this too, because I think it was a major life decision to make, because I get your concerns, especially personally. It's just in your life when it comes to bringing men into your life. So you pulled out altogether. Now, making the major decision to date women, have you found that to be a much more successful model, as far as to be able to have peace and like free of issues and so on and so forth, going in that direction?
Before you answer that,
Yeah.
First of all, just thank you for the gift of your vulnerability. Because you could have kept it at the statistics and you didn't have to bring your own personal situations into it and the experiences you had. But as I sit across from you, I'm very heartbroken.
I don't think, I appreciate it.
I'm heartbroken. From your father to your mentor to whoever put the gun on you. I just kind of need a minute, because you didn't deserve that. And that wasn't supposed to happen to you. And I know you've probably moved on and you've integrated it and done some therapy, but as a 180-degree man sitting across from you, it makes me very angry. And it breaks my heart that you had to experience that. And I am pissed. I make no apologies for my tears or none of that. Everybody that's a dweller understands how I get down. I'm an empath and I'm a feeler. And whether your life experiences inform your message or not, and for what it's worth, and it's probably not worth anything. I just hate that happened to you.
Well, I appreciate it. It is what it is. It definitely taught me a lot of stuff.